So hopefully by this point we've convinced you the Wi-Fi calling is the inevitable solution to solve indoor cellular problems. But as a building owner, you know, the question might be, what else? What are the other rationale for kind of doing this, for taking this approach and going not down the DAS methodology? So the issue from our perspective is the beauty of a Wi-Fi solution is that by addressing the voice problem, you now have a vehicle, so to speak, a network, if you will, in your building that can be used for a host of other purposes. So you now control your own destiny. You're not beholden to the cellular carriers to solve this problem for you. You don't need to go out and get carrier approval. You don't need to do any carrier registration. You can create and own and manage the Wi-Fi network in your building. So you can manage and control the unlicensed frequency into your building. You can also offer this network to your residents and staff for a host of other purposes, not just voice, obviously. We've been obviously in the data Wi-Fi business for a long time, but you've now got a network in place to solve a voice problem that can be used for things like high-capacity data offload. It can be used to extend staff services for applications you have running on their tablets or other devices. You've got a backbone, an IP backbone you can now use for energy management, for building automation. If you're in the assisted living space, you've got a network that can be used for patient tracking. So you put in a network to solve the voice problem, but you can use that network for a host of other data and applications that run over this IP backbone. So you may be sitting out there saying, great, Wi-Fi solves my problem. I'll just let my residents go do what I want to do. The problem with that is most consumer routers that are provided by cable or telco companies don't have quality of service, and there's certainly no coordinated frequency plans, which are two things you absolutely need for poor voice service. So if you're going to have a Wi-Fi calling to work in your building, you need a couple things. Number one, you need a ubiquitous Wi-Fi coverage throughout the property, and that means coverage in things like stairwells, hallways, amenity areas. You're not going to get that if people just put routers in their own apartments. You need a high-quality commercial-grade system with equipment and quality of service functionality enabled on the network for prioritization of voice packets and also for frequency management to reduce interference. So in order to get those two things, again, you can't have a do-it-yourself approach from a subscriber or a resident in a building. You need a managed Wi-Fi network. You also need roaming across APs and handoff to cellular. Again, something you're not going to get if you just leave it to residents to do their own thing. So from our perspective, the answer is a managed Wi-Fi network in the building that's got QoS on the network to prioritize voice packets so you don't get things like jitter and latency, which can kill voice conversations. That allows you to offer a premium service to the folks in your buildings. One last item, we're very aware of the fact that a lot of building owners have contracts that prevent bulk services in their building. From our perspective, most of those contracts are data contracts that by providing this service, you can provide a voice network, which will not necessarily bump into your contractual problem. You also have then the ability with your voice network to offer a retail or fee-based service for data that will compete with the existing data providers, either cable or telco in the building. That allows you to generate additional revenue for your property and can help subsidize the cost of this network, which, as we've already told you, is about a quarter of the cost of a traditional DAS system. So you've got a very expensive way to solve the voice problem. You've got a network that solves the voice problem that can be used for a host of other services, and you can sell those services to your residents to help pay for the cost of the network. At this point, Dick, I'm going to throw it back over to you.
Thank you, Tom. We have a few white papers that are available that you can obtain through our website that deals with the future-proofing in MDU buildings for both Wi-Fi and cell boost. They are documents which relate how you might want to cable buildings in order to future-proof the building. But in order to relate some of the concepts, I just wanted to go over some characteristics that are necessary. As Tom just mentioned, certain features are absolutely required. One of them, QoS. I just want to briefly describe that. Quality of service QoS parameters, features, is a feature which prioritizes packets. Here's the problem. When you have voice calling, the packets have to go in a certain sequence. It's not like data where packets can be reassembled and reconstructed at the receiving end. So QoS is a critical issue, as is a service level agreement. But the more important thing is if you want to provide voice Wi-Fi calling for voice services, you must have great coverage and good reliability. Those are critical issues when dealing with a voice service. You need security. Security is a major issue with wireless services, and the managed Wi-Fi network has to have a decent level of security. In our case, we use client isolation, which provides user-safe technology capability. CALEA compliance is mandatory, as is E911 for mobile users. And of course, one of the key points is resident support is essential in order to contain calls and connection issues so that your staff doesn't deal with it. Because CALEA compliance is important, it's necessary to have a managed Wi-Fi network. In general, when a building owner provides Wi-Fi in a building, the building owner takes the responsibility for CALEA compliance. When we manage the network, we handle the CALEA compliance on the network, and we make sure that E911 services are supported through the carrier.